I have people to introduce and say thank you to. This event couldn't happen without them. I'm going to, of course, start with three, not only LA Council members, that's our governing board in LA, but they're national board members. Two of them are actual founders of the IAC 10 years ago. And I'd love if you could even raise your hand, because we're all here to get to know each other and network. So I'm going to start with Recheter, Yossi Rabinovich, Nati Saidov. I also need to give a very, very special thank you to our Startupist, which is the high-tech network. It's our second network. It's funny, I told my mom that we're going to do a network of professionals, and she still has the dream that it's lawyers and doctors. I told her, no, this is an Israeli organization, so it's either high-tech or real estate. So our first network was real estate, and the events are amazing. And this is, like I said, our launching event for the high-tech network. And we feel as the IAC that it's a great network to connect younger people, older people, Israeli Americans, Jewish Americans. And let's face it, if you're a member of the real estate world and you're making money, you want to invest in high-tech. And if you made money in high-tech, you definitely want to invest in real estate. And you could, of course, any money you make due to meetings you do here and introductions, yeah, we'll take your donations happily. The group that really leads in the last few years the IAC is called the IAC Lead. It's our young professional leadership group. Our young professionals is called Bina, based on wisdom. And out of Bina grew a group of about 100 young professionals called IAC Lead. I really recommend that you speak to some people. I'll soon introduce you because I got to thank the staff too, and you could go to them. And if you join Lead, and there's a process of interviews and stuff, all the network events are free, and all the Bina events are free, and you take an active part in moving this organization forward, and it moves forward. The lead committee that runs this network, and I want to thank them one by one, of course, Miri Sheffer from our council, Sharon Recheter, one of our speakers tonight, who really helped put this event together, Sam Gonen, who's not here, and that's a shame. We have Erez Bustan from LegalNet. Erez Bustan spoiled us with sushi every meeting in his office. A special thank you to three of the lead members on the group that sponsored this event. One of them is Adam Barr. Kfir Gavrieli. And Leon Medved, who represents Bank Leumi, and Bank Leumi saw what Startupist is all about and gave an annual sponsorship for the whole program. I'm not going to disclose the amount, but it is a very nice amount. And thank you for making this happen and seeing the vision. Leon, toda raba. There's so much to say about the IAC, and I'm not going to, so I'm just going to mention two events. One, there's a special person here tonight. His name is Jonathan. Jonathan, please stand up. Okay. This is really what the IAC is about. Jonathan is, like I said, the IAC brings all ages together. Jonathan is part of the Eitanim group. That's our project-based learning group for high school students. And he did the hackathon. And I have to ask you, are you going to the conference in November? Good answer, thank God. So the IAC holds an annual conference in Washington, D.C. every year. I really recommend. It's an amazing 3 days of doing Shabbat together as a big Israeli-American Jewish community from all over America. And there's panelists like this. I met Sharon actually in the second national conference. My wife's here, but I'll say I fell in love with her at first sight. And no, amazing. You will get quite a treat today with her. And I need to point out one more event. Like I said, we have a community center that's named after Sheffer by the donation of the Sheffer family and the Seidel family. We have so many things I could talk about, but what's very important is the lead group has their annual fundraising event. It's called the Lead Masquerade, and it's happening November 18th. And now I'm going to thank the staff that without them all this can't happen. And I don't know where they are. There they are. Nadav, Limor, Daniel. This is my last thank you, and then I'm going to introduce Alon, promise. Daniel started at the IAC less than 2 years ago to work for our gala. And I remember me and Nadav would stay late at work, and we'd talk, and suddenly a head would come up behind the cubicle and basically trying to tell us, hey, you're not alone, guys, change the subject. So today she manages the real essence of IAC. She is the program manager for us, and this couldn't happen without her. So I really want to say a special thank you to Danielle. Okay, I hope I didn't forget or insult anyone, and if I did, shoot me. Alon Shwartz. Alon Shwartz, I had the pleasure of meeting him 2 weeks ago, and I got to say it was one of the coolest meetings I've had. I expected something else. It was very cool. I'm just going to give a quick bio of him so you know who we're dealing with. Alon Shwartz is a serial entrepreneur and an investor in local LA tech community. Alon is now the CEO and co-founder of unGlue, which I'll talk about, I'm sure, a few words, which basically is a solution to the #1 problem kids have today, is their addiction to the social media. Prior to unGlue, Alon co-founded DocStock, which grew to be the #1 destination for small businesses and professionals, over 40 million documents, over 30 million monthly users, and over 50 million registered users. DocStock was bought by Intuit in 2013. Alon is an active investor and advisor to multiple LA-based startups and helps nurture the LA tech community. Alon, thank you very much. Welcome, Alon.
Erez, thank you very much for introducing me. I should bring you with me to every VC meeting I'm having in the future, so you can introduce me like, here's Alon, right? So thank you very much. I sound really cool from that, so appreciate the introduction. So again, welcome to the first IAC Startupist. By the way, that name, when I told my kids that I'm going to moderate this event, so originally I'm from Israel, if you didn't guess by my name and my subtle accent, in this Rosh Hashanah, it's going to be 20 years that we're here, my wife and I and my 3 kids. When I told her it's going to be 2-3 years, we have to have some fun, work, come back. 20 years later, here we are, right? 3 kids, 4 startups, and of course, we're staying here. So I told my kids about Startupist, and they took them about 3 seconds to start laughing because they love how us Israelis like to borrow these English names like handbrakes for the handbrake, right? And the bagage for the baggage, and of course, their favorite is BMW for BMW. So when they heard Startupist, it was another one of these funny things. So I told them, yes, we're not original in words, but we're definitely original at high tech. So that put them to quiet. And that's why we brought 3 amazing people today that are going to talk about content, we're going to talk about advertising, and how to make money from all these things, right? So something we're all interested, because we're all like to know how to take those pieces of content we're creating, if it's videos or content, and make millions of people watch them, and if we can make money out of that. These are these 3 people that each one build a small empire that they can all talk about. So let me introduce each one of them and kickstart this event. Like Erez, I actually have an iPad, so I'm more sophisticated because I hate paper. So we'll start with John Waterman. John is the founder of Ad.net, a pioneer in paid search who founded his first company in 1998. Under his direction, Ad.net grew significantly from innovative leader search advertising to multi-channel solution for display, video, and native native advertising. John is a member of YPO and has been recognized by the EY Entrepreneur of the Year program. John holds Bachelor of Arts degree in communication from UC Santa Barbara. Welcome on board. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It's interesting because my oldest is going to UC Santa Barbara as well. I've got an 18-year-old kid, which I don't believe it happened, but that's a different story. Next, Sharon Recheter. Sharon is the president of First Media and the co-founder of Baby First TV, the world's leading media company for babies, toddlers, and their parents. First Baby TV, head of US operation for the Israeli network TV channel, and headed strategic planning department at GNS Advertising in Israel. She holds business administration and LLB in law. Sharon, welcome on board.
Thank you. Can I put this next to you?
Last but not least, we have two Johns, so I'm going to call you John still. John Skogmo. John is the founder and CEO of Jukin Media. He is executive producer of World Funniest on Fox. Now That's Funny on Channel 5 in the UK, and international TV series Fail Army, which airs in more than 221 territories worldwide. It's really impressive. Jukin Media receives more than 1 billion monthly views across digital platforms, and it licenses videos content to networks, publishers, and brands around the world. Jonathan is a member of the Producer Guild of America and one of the Young Presidents Organization. He holds a degree in film, television from Columbia College. Come on board. Woo! Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna start our evening, but first, show of hands. Ooh, the microphone is falling. How many of you guys are in technology? Okay. How many in real estate? The other half. How many of you guys in technology have a startup, like first 3 or 4 years, or like early stage companies? Great. I know some of you guys. How many of you want to learn how to get tons of views to your content and make a lot of money from it? All right, the rest can go home. You're in the wrong panel.
That's more than had actual website.
Exactly. Okay, so let's start by, so we know about these guys. They're amazing in what they do, but let's learn more about their business by showing a quick video for each one of them. So we'll start with John and Ad.net. Roll the clip. Let's see what is that.
Every day, billions of searches are performed outside of the major search networks like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. It's a marketplace where advertisers spend more than $2 billion annually to reach new customers and a larger audience. When you extend your campaign into this marketplace, Ad.net connects your business with over 50 million customers, searching and viewing across the web with high levels of intent and engagement. What do you have to do to reach them? Nothing. Your campaign is completely managed by the Ad.net team, supported by automated programmatic bidding, continuously optimized to your performance goal. Nothing for you to do, no bids or keywords to manage. You simply experience the value of a client agency team and advertising technology in one solution. Search in a world of new customers. Take your campaign into a new marketplace. Ad.net, going beyond.
Just so you guys understand, I mean, doing advertising is really hard. There's a lot of other networks in space, so what John has done is absolutely impressive, amazing, and should be notable. And you should use him for all of your... We'll talk after the event. Yeah. Sharon.
So can I just say something before?
Yes, say before we show your video.
Do you all know the joke about the guy who sees his friend he didn't see for 20 years, and when he sees him, he says, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you because you're a landmark in my life, because now I look at you and I see how much I have advanced." So this relates to what you said about me because it had nothing to do with what I do. It was what I did 2 years ago. So before we show our video, what we do at First Media is, in addition to having a cable network that is in 60 million homes, watched by every second mom in the country, We also have a social media platform. We are now one of the top 10 publishers in the world in social media. We are #1 in the world in views per post. Our average is 36 million, and we generate 1.7 billion organic video views, at least just on Facebook alone, every single month. Organic meaning we don't pay Facebook at all. We rely on you to share. And I hope the video you will show, I would say at least half of you maybe have seen, or maybe the women, because it's been viewed by 382 million people, shared by 12 million people, and until Saturday was the most watched video on Facebook history ever. And you should clap for John, because on Saturday he beat me, and now his video is the #1 watched Facebook video in history.
So let's see an example of that video.
You did, yay! You're one of my 7 hacks on how to fix your closet. Now, for everyone of you that I gotta share. Thank you, that was a share.
The funny thing is that even though I haven't watched that video, one day I came back home and my 14-year-old was like, let me show you how I can fold this t-shirt in like 3 different moves. So now I know where he found that.
That's a share.
Yes. That's amazing. So again, creating original content, that's a big part of what Sharon is doing, and we'll talk a lot about that today, because that's not easy. And last but not least, again, John, so we're going to see a clip that has about 90 seconds of collection of clips that you have. So you want to give us a quick overview before we watch it, or do you want to do it after?
Let's do it after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll the clip.
You can look at him. Oh my God! Are you crazy? Oh my
share.
quick, what you just saw, at Jukin Media, we believe the future of storytelling is user-generated. And we go out and discover, curate, and distribute everyday videos shot by everyday people, a lot of times often shot on these devices, GoPros and drones. We find different ways to monetize that content.
Very impressive. So again, these are curated content that you guys found, and then you then lease to other people who want to.
That's right.
Okay, and we'll talk a lot about that. So we all know what you guys do. In 60 seconds, how do you guys make money?
Do you want to go in order?
Yep, go in order.
So 60 seconds, I can do it. Okay, so once we find these videos, we were all about the monetization of this content, and we built this distribution platform where we can monetize everyday videos, often sometimes quote-unquote viral. It's videos that you see on Good Morning America, Today Show, Tosh.0, CNN, Jimmy Kimmel. We built a licensing platform, kind of think of a Getty Images for viral video, where any morning show, talk show, news show, brand, advertising agency can download the video and use it for their own creative. We also distribute to Yahoo, AOL, Hearst, Tribune on a daily basis. They get a real-time feed of our videos, and you, as a video owner, you get paid every time we monetize that piece of content. And we pay so close to the unit economics of every video in our library. I can tell you 2 cats in a video that's over 30 seconds will make more money than a cat and a dog less than 30 seconds. Now, I just kind of made that up, but that's how granular we are getting and paying very close attention to the data. And those are just one monetization touch point of how we monetize content, because we also have a huge relationship with Facebook, huge relationship with YouTube. We're doing $1.5 billion views per month, again, organically, monetization that goes right back to the video owner. Lastly, we also create our own shows. There's a list of credits that I named of TV shows that we also produce and digital shows that we also produce. Again, another revenue generating for the video owner.
And by the way, I'm asking you guys to talk about your revenue. I mean, how do you guys monetize? Because I'm trying to imagine if my dad would sit here as an old Jewish guy, he'll say something like, yeah, that's all very nice, but how do you make money, right? So let's get out of the way. So how do you guys, Sharon, how do you
what we do is we rely on 2 things on our Facebook properties. The first one is brand integration. So if Bed Bath & Beyond wants to promote their new Foreman grill, we would show 7 hacks of what you could do with a Foreman grill you never thought you could do. We would guarantee them 1 million views, and we have not had a video that didn't reach 1 million views in 24 hours. Some reached that in 55 minutes. And they pay us to do it. I won't share exactly how much they pay. I will say that BuzzFeed charges, which is the #1 in the industry, charges north of $250,000 per reach like that. The second thing we do is both, I would say, John and I are one of the chosen publishers on Facebook that are allowed today to put mid-rolls, so advertising within our content. There are about 30 publishers right now that can do that, and that's a nice way to monetize when it's just views with no brands. So that's how we want. Yeah. So 2 of them are here.
And this is impressive, right? I mean, they're throwing these numbers like millions here, billions there of views. I mean, that's really hard. So the fact that you guys can do it is very impressive. So, John.
Yeah. So I'll start. The video that you saw is just a portion of what ad.net does. I mean, we're an advertising network. What you were looking at is basically our search division. So we have advertisers anywhere from Hotwire and Experian, Expedia, TransUnion, all big brands, Victoria's Secrets and e-commerce, are looking to drive traffic to their website, to their offers, and get sales, get leads. And we help to facilitate that. We market ourselves an extension outside of Google, Yahoo, and Bing, because there's a marketplace that exists outside these major networks. And touch a little bit what John was talking about. We work with a lot of publishers that actually license content from John and from other companies out there for their publisher website. We help those publishers monetize on their video. So John provides the content. They need to make money off of that, their users that are viewing that content. They do that with advertising what we call tags. And so we'll provide them with a tag that will be a pre-roll or a post-roll or a mid-roll that will pay them anywhere between $5 CPM, which is cost per milli, which is cost per 1,000. So every 1,000 views, they can make anywhere between $5 and call it $30, depending on the type of user that it is. And so all that content that's out there that these publishers are licensing to put on their website, they got to make money. We help them to make money on those websites. So they sign up to us. We put a deal together with them. We'll say, hey, we'll pay you $10, and then we're getting paid from the advertiser 15 or 20 or whatever it is. That's another piece of what we do. We also have, you guys know about all the banners. It's called display. We also have a display division. So we, from search and video and display, we're working with these publishers to help them make money on their traffic, the users they have to their websites. And then we're working with the advertisers who are paying us to get them that traffic to generate more views or sales or leads or whatnot. That's a quick summary.
Thank you, John. So let's talk about content. We all want to make, there are billions of people out there watching videos, reading articles. We really want to get those people to watch our content and to click on something or to click on our ads, to make some money out of that, to do something, to get more views to our company, to our product, to our service, right? I mean, that's really what we all want. And creating content is one way of doing that. And there's the whole phrase, content is king, right? But it's really hard to create content. And how do you create content that is organic, right? That can be shared by other people. So there are three aspects here that we need to talk about. One is creating the content by itself. You know, you can take your iPhone camera and shoot a video, or you can do something a lot more professional like Sharon is doing. There's distributing it, great. You can create a video, put it on YouTube, and you and your mom and your kids would watch it, and that's it. But how do you get it to be viewed by millions of people? And then how do you make money, which is some things that John is talking about. So let's start by something really simple. How do you create a video that can be, what will be shared by so many people? Like, how do you create a viral content? I know I created a lot of videos. They're not being shared. What's wrong? Why is it not? All my cat videos are not, not cat, my kids' videos.
Kids' video is tough. Everybody thinks theirs are the best.
How do you do it?
But mine are.
What's the secret?
So I would say on our content, we have developed an algorithm. So we have analyzed thousands of videos, and we have taken about 300 parameters, and we can now anticipate with an accuracy of 87% how well a video will do before we even post it. But it's about quantity, not quality. Just to give you data from last week, I was talking to somebody at Discovery. Discovery last week, the entire Discovery group, all the Discovery group together, posted 400 posts in a week that we posted 8. Okay, 400 versus 8 posts. Our engagement level, meaning people actually interacting with our content, commenting, sharing, liking, doing anything with our content, was 4 times higher than Discovery's. So it's not about how much content, it's about making the content really work. And the question we ask ourselves, regardless of the algorithm, which is better advice than I could give you, is why would somebody share? Because unless you're going to put a lot of money to market your content, there has to be that moment of, which will make you want to share this with your friends. This is how our virality works. We only count on shares. And if we can't get shares, will never work for us. So that's my best advice.
So we're in a hot spot now. So all of us want to have that. Give us like 2-3 ideas, examples of how can we make our video more viral. Like, we have 300 parameters. Give us 3, right?
So first of all, I think, for example, John and I have a very different audience. So my audience is 96% millennial women. John's is cool young men who would never date my audience. Okay. His are way cooler than mine. Mine like to knit. So you have to cater to the right audience. And you have to reveal, you have to have an element of surprise, but you have to reveal what is going to be cool fairly fast within your video. These are 2 tips that I would give. But showing long videos of your cat, unless he's doing something super cool, has never worked for us.
Okay. John.
I think at the end of the day, you want to know your audience, and you want to program your audience, and depending on what type of platform, you want to optimize for that platform. And what I mean by that is a video that you shoot is going to play differently to a different audience on a different platform. So Facebook video on Facebook is going to be different than a video on YouTube. And you have to customize the content per platform, even though it might be the same video. So you may want to add, on Facebook, for example, you're searching through your feed, and you only have like 2 seconds to get the audience's attention. And so you better put something very visual right in front of that audience. Or YouTube, on the other hand, is a more lean-back experience, and that's what it's become over the few years. As Facebook is so quickly, we're moving our thumbs around, you want something very visual that's going to speak to the audience right away, because you want people to stop. And if you also notice something on Facebook too, is the volume's not up. So a lot of people are testing a lot of things with captions, and they're testing different types of captions. And everything out there is A/B testing. And so you're collecting all that data, and you're learning from every time you post a piece of content. And I think you got to ask yourself at the end of the day, what is the purpose? Are you trying to drive content? Are you trying to create brand awareness? Are you trying to go off platform to a different platform? So at the end of the day, you have to customize the content to the platform, customize to the content to the audience.
So two things that I've learned from, tell me if what you guys think is, first of all, if you have a video, don't upload to Facebook the link to your YouTube video. Upload the original to Facebook. And
no, you'd have to define it a little bit more narrow. Facebook is the platform you watch when you're bored and you're waiting at the dentist. YouTube is where you went to search for something that's interesting to you. So it's a very different view. What we watch when we're bored and we have 2 minutes to pass versus I want to learn about how to put my makeup on, right? So it's very different, and you have to customize, create the content knowing where you're going to put it. Also, I would agree with what John said. It's about what are you trying to do. Facebook works really well on building brands and creating brand awareness. It's not as good as buy now. So unless you're counting on paying money to Facebook to promote your video, because people won't share ads. Nobody wants to share someone else's ad. So you have to define what are your goals and understand the platform and understand the consumer in order to do it. Now, we didn't start with an algorithm. We just started with one video that rocked. So everybody can do it.
And they're all different platforms. If your goal is to drive audience and drive viewership, be native to that platform. Yeah. So I think in your example, you're talking about uploading to YouTube, copy the link, paste it on your feed. Facebook doesn't like that because you're driving off their platform. Right. You should upload it natively to that platform. Upload it natively to YouTube. If you want YouTube views, if you want Facebook views, upload it to Facebook. Twitter, Instagram, same thing.
So John, oops, one second.
He's so important, he gets a second mic.
That's backup mic.
I'll jump in just for a quick second, because one of the things you were talking about and you were asking was more shares. How do you create organic content? There are a number of companies out there. If you have content, and it's not necessarily just on YouTube or on Facebook, but it's on your own website, your own blog, and you have a great piece of content, how do you get people to your website to watch that piece of content? Well, obviously, people are searching for it on Google, they're searching for it on Yahoo, and they're finding your website, hopefully. There's other ways you could drive traffic to your website to create more views that creates ultimately more revenue. So if you have a great piece of content that's on your own website, your own blog, there's media that you can buy, and what's called arbitrage. You could drive traffic to that website and spend $10 to drive 1,000 visitors, and then make $20 on that 1,000 visitors for all the video ads that you're showing on that piece of content, including the banners. So there's other ways you could drive traffic to make money on that content that's not just organic. Yep. Now, I will say organic is definitely the highest valued user. You're going to get more money in terms of equity for your company if you're getting traffic that's organic. A company that's going to buy you is going to be way more interested in organic than paid media. But it definitely helps the bottom line, and it definitely puts cash in your pocket.
And sometimes we combine it. So,
right. Oh yeah, you're always the combination
so
the best.
To give an example, we just did a campaign which was #1 in the world in July for brand integration for Dollar Shave Club. So they got 27 million views for a video that showed you a lot of cool stuff you could do, hacks about shaving. However, then they know who these users are, and they can buy media to actually push Dollar Shave Club on the people who actually watch the video. Right. And that's a good way of combining.
Right. Both. I mean, we have advertisers that are essentially publishers. And what I mean by that is these advertisers are paying us for media. And these are advertisers like the LA Times, the New York Times, sites like Funny or Die, which is kind of a viral video type of website. These clients of ours, they need traffic. Even the LA Times and New York Times, I mean, these are old types of companies that need more digital traffic. They're out there buying traffic to drive to their website to make money on all the advertising space that they've sold on their website.
So we're talking about a lot about viral videos. Let's take an example of something. So anyone can guess what was the most viewed video on Facebook Live last year, in 2016. Any idea what was the video? It wasn't the cat video, I can tell you that. Okay? I checked. Any guesses? What is it? A professional video? Is it a person?
Is it yours?
People are amazing.
Okay. So you might be surprised. Let's see what was the most viewed video on Facebook Live.
Patient. All right, we're doing good. Doing good. Okay, so this is what I got. Once again, this is for me, not for Duncan, not for Cadence. I mean, I'll let them play with it. I'm not a bad mom. I'm not a jerk. But in all honesty, at the end of the day, it doesn't go in their toy box. It goes in my room. So here we go. I gotta take off my glasses for it.
I don't think I saw this.
Oh, naturally. Okay, here we go. So, yes! Now watch when my mouth actually moves. That's not me making that noise, it's the mask! Here, listen.
Oh my God.
Okay. Did anyone would guess that was the most viewed, right? 170 million?
Yeah, 170
million views
in a week or something on Facebook Live.
Oh my! So how many total views did it have?
I don't know what the running count is now, but I just remember it was the highest, most viewed video.
So if you watch she has an interview in one of the late night shows, and she said she saw it with 20 people, and then after an hour it turned like less than an hour, like 1 million views. She went to sleep, woke up, he had 20 million views, which is insane. Like if you imagine, but apparently it's very funny. So how do you end up with that video? So walk us through. Does she make money from this? How does it work?
So confidentially, she probably made well into the six figures, less than 6 months or so. And exactly how you said it, she was on The Tonight Show, she was on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Star Wars is paying her, Mattel is paying her.
She did the throw in one of the baseball games. She had Chewbacca behind her. I mean, it's insane.
It was insane.
I thought you paid her like $1,000.
So we do a revenue share. So, she made a lot of money and so did we. So it was great for all of us.
So do you understand, you bought that rights to that video?
So how we find the content is we've developed some really great technology and we applied that with methodology. And actually my background, as we mentioned, I was producing a lot of shows, and I used to produce a lot of clip shows. Think of clip shows like America's Funniest Home Videos. 12 years ago when I first moved out to Hollywood, my job was to actually go to the P.O. box every day and pick up VHS tapes and DVDs. And because we used to say, send in your VHS tape and DVD to this P.O. box. And so I used to go in the hot summer in LA and come back in this small Hollywood office and look through these really crappy VHS tapes. And I had a VHS player on my desk, and this was 2005. So it doesn't seem that long ago, but that was my job. So I've been around user-generated content my whole career. I've definitely seen it evolve. And today it's kind of the same process, but instead of people sending in tapes, we're going out and finding videos. And we're utilizing these social platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, to find content. And what we're technically doing is kind of putting a giant filter on the web. And based on those analytics and those metrics of what we know what content monetizes, we're applying that to these filters. And so we're tracking views, likes, shares, comments, per minute, per hour on a particular piece of content. And that kind of helped us prioritize as what videos we're going to go out and reach out to. And we literally send them email, call somebody on the phone, hey, we want to license your video, we want to share the upside, we think there's a lot of value here, and we strike a licensing deal, and we get the worldwide perpetuity rights.
Okay, so what I like to do in every event is give the audience some actionable advice. Okay, everyone here has a business. Everyone here wants to get a lot of views to their website or product or service or clicks, leads, make money, whatever it is. Give you tips. You know, if someone wants to do a video today or write an article today or somehow drive traffic, what can you suggest them to do better than what they're doing now?
For me, I mean, our content is a lot of accidental content. We believe in the accidental content creator because these are lightning in the bottle moments that you can't recreate, you can't remanufacture. They're organic moments that are really authentic. And so it's hard for me to say that because it's like a lot of stuff caught on camera, the lightning in the bottle moments. I mean, who would have thought this video would have done so well? Sometimes just the timing and pop culture. And these videos, as you know, become zeitgeist moments in our society. We also got this video that you guys may have heard of called The Pizza Rat. It came out a year ago. We got, 50 million views or something crazy like that. The New Yorker wrote about it. John Oliver talks about it all the time. You ever watch John Oliver? But it was a zeitgeist moment in New York. They were talking about this rat that was just dragging a freaking piece of pizza. It wasn't that interesting. But it got a lot of views for whatever reason. So it's hard to predict that reality. I think there are things that you can do. And like Sharon's mentioned, and I'm sure she'll tell you some other big pointers. But for us, ours is very accidental at the end of the day.
So you should, Chewbacca's already taken, find a Yoda mask and try that in a car in a parking lot. Okay, maybe that's a
I think it's very hard to try and create a viral video like John's. It's very hard. Maybe it's easy for John because he knows how to do it right now and he's done it a million times, but it's very, very hard to plan on going viral. We do 3 pillars of content right now. We do life hacks and do-it-yourself. We do beauty and we do cooking. So these are our pillars right now. And my biggest advice would be give real value to your viewers. So your content is not about promoting your brand. Nobody wants to promote your brand. Nobody wants to share your brand. Give real value, give real advice. I would say trying to be funny is super hard. Only really good people who are really good at it can be funny. So if you can't be really funny, just give real value. Give content that people can actually use in their lives. And you can use your product. It's not that you can't use your product, but if I'm trying to sell a Foreman grill, show 7 things you could do with the Foreman grill that you didn't know. Did you guys know you can bake cupcakes with a Foreman grill? No, you didn't know that, right? It got 27 million views.
Amazing.
Send me the link after.
I'll add that, take it outside of video, right? Because you're also writing content. You mentioned it for a second, articles. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure everybody here has seen, and you just said it, 7 ways to do this, 10 ways to do that. The way in which you write your content, the content could be the same, but if you change up the titles and descriptions of the content, the way you post it on Facebook, you got to get that hook, line, and sinker, right? You got to get people in, and then actually once they're in, there's different ways you can make money on that. But you've all seen these slideshows where you click, 7 ways to do it, and you're clicking next, 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 next. Every time you're clicking next, the page is refreshing, and they're getting new banner ads or new video ads or whatever it is. So, you're never gonna, I think I agree, you're never gonna figure out how to go viral, right? But you can figure out how to get people's attention, a little bit more than not. And, you've all noticed it, searching online or Facebook or whatever.
All right, so something else. So right now you guys each have a pretty significant company, very impressive success, but it didn't start that way, right? What was your turning point? How did you at what point do you think you started small, some startup, some small business, and at some point you've seen it's growing. So what was, for each one of you, the turning point? How do you make it, dude?
John was like 5 when it happened.
Yeah, I got lucky.
12, right?
I think, look, ultimately everybody gets lucky.
Yeah.
right? I mean, you're in the right place at the right time, and everybody's seeing opportunity pass them by every day, and you're going after the opportunities. You get lucky on which ones you go after. I was in Santa Barbara, University of Santa Barbara, in '98. There was this thing called the internet I knew nothing about. I didn't even have a computer. I didn't have an email address. My buddy started telling me, look what's going on. People are typing in these domain names, and we're sending these domains to mainly a bunch of casinos, a bunch of Israeli casinos. Of course. Okay. And wow, well, look at this. So I got an email address, got a computer. I started buying domain names. And driving this traffic to these advertisers, and eventually search became a little bit more popular, and I launched a search engine called Findology.com, and it was pretty much just all advertisers sponsor listings. You do a search, you get the listings, you click on it, I got paid, and just slowly but surely, just everything kind of evolved. I had a little luck along the way. I sold the business in 2007, December, just before the crash. So timing was perfect. And then the public company that bought my company basically was out of cash. I ended up buying back the company, and then we rebranded to ad.net, and we kind of evolved into video display and all that. So I mean, a little bit of luck, a lot of observation. I think keeping your eye on the ball a little bit. Yeah, I mean, there's still turning points.
You are lucky.
I am lucky. Yeah.
You're modest. Come on.
You should see his house. That's lucky.
Sharon, something that I just discovered about you, I didn't know. You're working with your husband, with your dad.
Turn off the camera. I sleep with my boss.
My wife is amazing. She's a teacher in what used to be called New the Toledo now.
Thank God.
Never worked with her. How do you do that?
So I think that if you can work with your family, which not everybody can, but if you can work with your family, it's the best. Because we're all fighting for the same cause, we'll all commit suicide for the same things, and we'll all understand when our partner cancels our vacation on us. My husband and I have a rule. We both think we're right 99% of the time, but because we never know when is the 1% that we're wrong, we're respectful to each other. And our philosophy is we divide and conquer. Every one of us runs a different part of the business. We take each other's advice very seriously, but at the end of the day, there's one decision maker on every topic. So that's that. And to what we contribute our success, I will say that to the fact that we are Israelis and we don't understand English very well. So even though, I'm not kidding, even though we speak English, we really, when we started, didn't understand English. And when we pitched our idea for the first time to Dish Network, which I used to head the Israeli network, so we knew them, and they said, very interesting. As Israeli, we thought they're מאוד מעוניינים, that they're very interested. And because we didn't understand that, we were able to raise the money because we believed that they were actually interested. It took them 2 years to actually be interested.
So there's that joke, which doesn't apply to you guys, that says the husband tells his wife that I would agree with you, but then we would both be wrong. Right? So just that's the opposite of that, right?
No, I think we're very lucky and to work together. And we share, so I can be here and he's with the kids right now, and sometimes it goes the other way around. We've also brought in my brother, who now heads our digital side, and because he was doing such a phenomenal job in Israel running a mobile company, and he said, hey, why do it for them? Come work with us, and he's helped us grow significantly. So I think if you can work with your family, there's nobody you can trust more than your family, so we're grateful for that.
I would disagree, but
yeah,
it's a long story.
So when I was 14 or 16, I created my dad's. He had a car shop in Israel. I created the first software for him. Biggest mistake ever. Never do business with family. Until today, he's 84, still waiting for me to fix some bugs in that system. But yeah, whatever. Would never happen. So John, you signed a deal with MGM, right? To create content. Tell us about that. That's huge.
Yeah, it is.
It's like nothing. I mean, everyone does that, right?
Yeah, we at the same time as I mentioned, we license a whole bunch of content out to all the shows that I mentioned, all those platforms. We also create our own content, and we do that digitally, and we've leveraged the library to create these content brands. One's called People Are Awesome, which I believe someone just mentioned. That was the video that surpassed you over the weekend with nearly just under 400 million views. So
The
two
evening is
biggest
still young,
viewed videos on Facebook. What was that?
The evening is still young. I mean, she can still get
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
right.
he got
Who
this
knows?
one. He got this one.
But we also create longer form content. So we leverage these brands that we create, then upstream them to OTT or television. So we also have another brand called Fail Army. It's one of the largest YouTube channels out there. It's very guys getting kicked in the crotch. A lot of that going on, but it's also very language agnostic at the end of the day. It's very funny. It's very universal. I like to say an ouch is an ouch in any language at the end of the day. And so 80% of our audience is outside the US digitally. And we also produce a international television show called Fail Army that's in 200 markets around the world. We produce over 120 episodes. We think we're going to go all the way up to 250, or at least that's the goal. We also produce a series on Verizon's new platform called Go90, which is a 5-minute version of Fail Army, which is with a host. And so we produce a lot of content, and MGM is just another partner of ours we're going to continue producing content with.
I think what John's saying is really interesting also to see, in addition to being amazing, is that once you're creating content and or delivering content and you become good at it, there's a lot of potential other revenues. And we stop looking at ourselves as publishers and content creator and mostly look at ourselves as a platform, because we can leverage our platform right now to do a ton of commerce. We are kings of data right now. There are such amazing plays of data we can play because we can pull the right audience from a 1.7 billion, so it's such a big audience that we can pull data from and create new products. So content selling, brand integration or ads on content or selling the content is one way, but once you've built it, there are other interesting ways to monetize what you've built.
Over the last 20 years, they used to say traffic is king, right? You have the users, the traffic, that's king. Then it became content is king. And I would say now we're in that phase where it's data is king.
Yeah.
And so from the traffic to the content to the data, and if you can get all of those combined, you're an emperor.
Yeah, because I think where the world is maybe going, maybe you can attribute to that more in terms of advertising. It's great to have a great reach, but it's about reaching the right people. So it's not just about reaching tons of people, it's about finding the right people that are relevant for you and paying for the right people that are relevant for you. But I will say share is queen.
You stole my
Love the share.
Data.
There's a girl angle and everything.
And data is queen. So I've got tons more questions, but I really want to open the panel for questions from the audience. So I'll call on you whenever you can. Just raise your hand, tell me your name, and what company you're from if you want to. So you started, you're next.
So real quick, my name is Ori. I work in a steel company, but that's beyond the point. Your companies, I want to know, how many employees do you guys have? Is it like a small home-based company, or are these big companies?
For us, is this working? There we go. Problems with the microphone. The founding stories, I started the company from my apartment. I quit my job at Discovery and literally bootstrapped the company. Today we have 175 employees, headquartered in Los Angeles, office in London, New York, Australia, and I probably have another 20 people on the pipeline right now, so we're still growing.
So I would say I only talked about one division of our company, which is our social media, because it was relevant for this. So our overall company has between 90 to 100 people right now. On social media, we're working 50, but we started it with 3. So in April of last year, when we started social media, because this is a fairly new venture for us, there were 3, and it just continues to grow. And interestingly enough, today I just found out that that part of our business is already profitable. So even though it's 50 people working on that. So it's, which I didn't expect. So it's, you don't have to start big. You can start small and grow.
Yeah, I mean, I started the same way. I mean, you know, in my apartment in college, things grew. We don't have any investors, you know, so I'm pretty greedy about making sure that we keep our costs down. So we got 40 people that, you know, that keep still a good amount of money every month, but we got 40.
Very nice. Yes.
Hi, my name is Recheter. First of all, I'm very excited to be here because I got a new idea. I'm creating a brand new company in the medical business. And my question is,
The question was how to create a.
Should I take beauty?
You should take. You got a beauty channel.
Check out Blusher. Blusher, that's our page. You'll see what kind of content we do. Working with small companies, it really depends what they bring. So if we work with different kind of partners on different kind of things. Likelihood is that if you're just starting out, you probably won't be able to afford to advertise on us, but it doesn't mean we don't partner if you bring an interesting voice and to create content together.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Noga. I work for Hello.
We know Hello. We know Hello.
For who?
Hello, the school.
Oh, the whole.
You know it good.
I do. Oh yes, my kids.
Your kids go there.
Yeah. Oh, my
So,
kids.
yeah, Sandra Barbara, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually, too. Never mind. First of all, John, I know that my friends and I are a huge fan of your work.
Thank you.
I'm actually interested to hear about something that failed, that you didn't fail, and what did you take, what did you learn from it?
So I like to think.
Something that failed.
Something that they failed in and learned from.
So I like to actually think that the harder I work, the luckier I get at the end of the day, because I've failed so many fucking times, over and over and over and over again. I can't name a particular time. I really can't. It was when the moment when all of a sudden somebody said yes. I was like, what? Yeah. What? You want to work with us? You want to be our partner? So there's not one particular time, but I think some great advice that I learned that, you know, from failing and winning, how you do that, how you fail or win is just there's just two inches away. It can go in either direction at the end of the day. And my advice is just never give up, because I failed so many times. Again, when I'm surprised when I heard yes for the very first time, I couldn't believe it.
There's a
And it was
dance
just
for
over
that.
and over. Yeah.
So I would say this, we fail every day. My husband and I actually have a joke that if we woke up and nobody smacked us in the face today, we're probably still in bed. So that happens to us every day. I can tell you our biggest failure ever cost us $800,000. Yes, when we launched our cable network, and we thought it would be a great idea for us to open a call center in the Philippines, because we would buy ads and we would direct them to the call center in the Philippines, and we would explain really well about what our channel does. And we just forgot to call the cable companies and ask if it's okay to put our own number in an ad for a cable network on a cable company. And after we spent a ton of money on getting that set up, they said no. So that was a painful failure. But it's part of doing business, and we like to think of it as we have to work really fast, so at least we can recover fairly fast and fairly cost efficiently from our failures, which happen every single day. And if there's one thing I want my kids to learn, I have 4 kids, if there's one thing I want my kids to learn, get the up.
Want to teach them bad language? I would just say that failure is perception. Right, you got to, you perceive failure, differently than everybody else. You fail every day, but what is it? Is it you failing, or you missed? The failure, the success is more of a, I haven't yet succeeded. I'm crazy, right? I'm looking at 10, 20 years from now. I haven't succeeded yet. I'm always chasing that next thing. But that's a little bit of the sickness, right? There's, it's all perception. How do you perceive success and failure? You answer your own question.
Yeah, I like the quote, Thomas Edison, who said, I didn't fail, I just found 10,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. Right,
right, exactly. Opportunity.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
So you mentioned
your name?
Kfir Gabrieli Teeks.
I just want to say one thing. I really regret not wearing your shoes today. I really regret it.
Me too. It would have been good advertising. So you mentioned traffic being king, content, data. Today, most of the traffic is happening on a handful of platforms that people go to consume the content, and they're aggregating and utilizing a lot of our data. And also, people are talking about blockchain now in the same way that they're talking about the internet in '98. How much do you guys think about the distributed, decentralized web as a threat to your businesses and to the platforms that you guys rely
I mean, that's a complicated question. I mean, you know, blockchain, for those of you who don't know, you know, there's a lot of things going in the advertising world where the agencies are making a lot of money, you know, based on what the publisher is selling versus all the way through the chain. Blockchain comes in and basically, you know, pretty much says, no, that's not going to happen. Essentially, it shows a lot more transparency. That would be, I don't see blockchain actually, you know, taking shape anytime in the near future, personally. I think there's the establishment in the agency world where the dollars are being spent. You know, the agencies, they have too much control to actually allow it to really take place as much as some people think. Believe me, there are people talking about it. I just don't see it happening anytime in the near future. I forgot the first part of your question was.
That's the question. Just how much do you worry about that?
But we worry about everything else.
Yeah,
No, for real.
I'm constantly worried.
Yeah, we're always worried.
I'm worried right now.
Yeah.
Mostly in the sense that it displaces Facebook and YouTube and Google.
But everything, Disney pulling off Netflix, what does that do to the world? Does that change distribution? Cable companies making $7 off data versus $1 off content. What does that do to the world?
So I would say Netflix was a huge disruption to Disney.
No, Disney decided right now to pull off all their content off Disney and launch their own platform. Yeah. What will that do to Netflix? What will that do to other content providers? Will they start creating their own platform? Who knows? I think nobody knows, but what we know, or what we hope, is that if we're fast enough and agile enough and on our feet, we'll figure out what the trends are, and whatever it is will be there. So we had a cable network 5 years ago. I could tell you what it's worth, and it was really worth a lot of money. Today, I don't know who wants to buy a cable network, but now we're doing really well on social media. So the world is changing, and the one thing we have to learn, other than to get up, is constantly adjust. We're Jews, right?
And I'm all for a fragmented chain out there. I'm totally fine for all these different video platforms. It's a great time to be a content creator and content producer. There's just more ways to monetize, different platforms to monetize. So if you want to get into the content business, it's a freaking great time. I don't think there's a better time in history.